Hello everyone, welcome back to iTeaches. Today's discussion topic is data frames in Python. I have divided these tutorials into two sections. In the first sections, you are going to learn about the terminology associated with data and data frame. Whereas in the section 2, you are going to learn the operations on data frames in Python. So stay tuned. Alright, let's start with the terminology. The first terminology that we are going to learn is data. Basically, what is data? The first question come in your mind is what is data? Data is nothing but a known fact or figure. It is a qualitative or quantitative value of any particular object. And that object may be a student. Students have different type of data stored in a school database. For example, the academics of the students, the personal detail of the students, for example, the name, the roll number, the class where the student is, as well as the academic record in which particular subject the student scored what marks. Similarly, in case of a bank, if you see, there are different type of customers. The customers have different datas. For example, their account number, their CIF number, their bank balance, their account balance, how much money they have deposited, how much money they have withdrawn. Everything is considered as data. That's why it is a very true statement that data is a known fact or figure. All right, I hope you understand what is data is. All right, let's move on to the next term, which is data warehouse. From the name itself, you can understand warehouse. That means it is a place where we can store the objects. So data warehouse is nothing but a place where we can store our data. So you can consider a data warehouse as a central repository of any enterprise or any organization where the data from different sources are stored. So if you consider a business organizations have different source for the data. For example, they may have a sales department, production department, or a purchase department. Every department contributes to certain data. So all these data in an organizations are stored inside a warehouse. And that picture, the complete central repository, is called data warehouse. I hope the idea about data warehouse is clear to you now. All right, our next term is data analysis. What is data analysis? It is a process of inspecting, cleansing, transforming, and modeling data as per the needs of the business organization. Now, as you have already learned from the previous term, data warehouse, where various data from various sources are stored inside data warehouse. And to extract the data from the data warehouse, we need a process. That process is called data analysis. And the person who does this data analysis is called data analyst. So what is the purpose and what is the work of a data analyst? The data analyst is responsible for extracting useful information or desired information for the organization. And using this information, organization can take any decision or they can come to any conclusion. So I hope the idea about data analysis is clear to you now. Let's see the next topic, what we have. Our next topic is data frames. Now, what is data frame? It is an object that is useful in representing data in the form of rows and columns. Now, you can consider data frame as a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet where we can store the data, we can organize the data in the form of rows and columns. Here also in Python, if you want to extract a data from Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and want to represent it in Python, then we can also use data frame for this purpose. All these data can be represented in the form of data frames. So in Python, data frames is a main object of Pandas module. So students and viewers, you have to download, you need to import one extra module which is called Pandas. The name is over here, as you can see, Pandas. This Pandas module you need to install in your Python. Now let's see how you can create data frames in Python. Data frames can be created from Microsoft Excel sheet. It can be created from .csv files, which is comma separated files. Very much useful when we are dealing with Excel data on internet. Those files are saved as .csv files. We will not going to discuss about this now. The next part is Python dictionary. You can use Python dictionary or you can use Python list to create a data frame. Well, in the previous section, you have already learned about different terminology associated with the data and data frame. Now in this section, we are going to learn about different operations on data frame. To create the data frame, we are using here Microsoft Excel sheet. So I have already created a Microsoft Excel sheet over here. And in that particular Microsoft Excel sheet, I have taken 3 columns. Basically, those 3 columns are roll number, name, and address. And from this Microsoft Excel sheet only, I'm going to extract the record and try to display that one data frame in Python. So let's start with our coding. So we'll first move on to our IDLE Python editor. Now, as I already mentioned this in the previous section, that to perform a data frame operation, so we need a special module which is Pandas. So we will first import Pandas into this. So I will write here import Pandas as, and just for abbreviation I have using PD. You can use any other name for this. Now the next part is we need to extract the data from Microsoft Excel. So to extract the data, basically what to do, I use this PD, that is the Panda modules abbreviation, and under this I will use this function read Excel. Now read Excel function take 2 parameters. The first one is the path of the file from where you want to extract, and second one is the sheet name from where you are going to extract. So my file name for Microsoft Excel is, I have saved with this name, student details dot xlsx, and the next one is the sheet name. So I have keep the sheet name as sheet 1. I'll write there sheet 1. Now by doing this, what I'm doing is I'm just reading or extracting the data from student details Excel sheet and from sheet number 1. So what will happen when the Python Panda module will read this data? It is going to return a data frame. So the data frame will be, I'll just give any name to the data frame. I'm just writing here DFRM. DFRM is equal to. So just this Excel, this read Excel will going to return a data frame where I am going to store the data frame into this particular variable DFRM. Now let's see whether the operation is successful or not. So I'm going to display the output. So for that, I will write print and I'll check what is the value inside DFRM. So now after doing this, I will simply save and run the code. Initially, it will take a little bit of time because it is extracting the data. Here you can see that the roll number, name, and address is over here. These are the columns I have already created in Microsoft Excel, and these are the row, that is the 5 records I have stored. Now you will see over here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is mentioned over here. This is the index number. This is the index number of the row. So the first row is denoted with an index number 0, and the second row is denoted with 1, and so on. So whatever number of rows you will see, that will be actually the last one will be -1. The number of rows -1. So if it is 5 rows, so it will have the index from 0 to 4. Alright. So I hope you understand that this is how you can extract the data from a particular Microsoft Excel file and store it inside a data frame, and after that you can print those records. So now let's see the other operations of data frame. So we have already extracted the data from the Excel sheet, and we have created the data frame. Now what are the other operations we can do? Now we are going to learn that suppose if you want to display the number of rows or the column that you have extracted, so that can also be possible over here. So to do this one, I need to write down one statement here, print, and then inside that I can write down here dfrm, our data frame, dot shape. So what this statement will do, it will going to return a tuple, and in that particular tuple the first element will be the number of row and the second will be the number of column. So that's why I'm just putting all this statement inside the print so that we can get the output. Now let's run this code. Okay. Now as I can see over here that this 5 and 3, this 5 is number of rows and 3 is number of columns. As you can see over here, the 3 is number of columns, roll number, name and address, whereas 5 is the number of records in front of you. Alright. So now move on to this one. Suppose if you want to display this row and column in a separate line, in that case how to do this? So for that purpose also we can do it like this way. We can store the tuples in two different variables, the element of the tuples in two different variables. For example, I just take a row and column, and after that I will just repeat the statement again. So what this statement will do is this shape is going to return a tuple having two elements. So this two element, the first one will be the number of row and the next one is the number of columns. So it will be stored inside, the number of row will be stored inside the row variable, and the number of column will be stored inside the column variable. So to check this one, let's write down another statement. Suppose I'm writing here print number of rows, and I write here row. And similarly for the column also I write here print number of columns, number of calls, call. Now if I run this code now, I'll run. Now you can see over here the output. The number of row is 5, that is the first value, and the number of column, that is 3, is the second value of the tuple. So I hope you understand that how you can check out the number of rows and columns in a particular data frame. So our next operation is basically related to extraction of rows from the data frame. So we can extract it from the head portion, that is from the top portion of the data frame, as well as we can extract it from the bottom portion of the data frame. So to do this one, we will use this statement print dfrm dot head. So when I use this function head, it is going to extract the top 5 rows, and if I want to display from the bottom, I can use dfrm dot tail. So head and tail are the two functions which is going to extract the data from the top portion and from the bottom. So basically if you don't mention anything within this parenthesis, in that case it is going to extract the top 5 rows, and the tail is going to extract the bottom 5 rows. So although we have 5 rows only, so probably we are going to get the similar result. Let's see. So let's run this code. Yes, as you can see, this particular part, this is for the head extraction, and this one is from the tail extraction. As I said that we have only the 5 rows, so because of that only both the extraction will produce the same result. But if you have more rows, in that case the head will produce the top 5 records, and the tail will produce the bottom 5 records. So if I want to change this one, for example, I want to extract only 2 records from the top and 2 records from the bottom. In that case, we can mention the number. Suppose in the head, if I mention 2, so 2 first top 2 rows will be there, and if I mention 2 in this one, then the top I mean bottom 2 will be there. So let's check it out this. Now as a result, you can see over here the head, as I mentioned 2, so from the top only 2 records, that is of Amit and Rakesh, is over here, as you can see from this main, Amit and Rakesh. And in the tail one, as I mentioned 2, so from the bottom it is going to extract 2. So from here the bottom Sanjay and Ravi, you're going to get 2. So as per your requirement, you can put any particular value over here. It may be 2, it may be 3, it may be 4, whatever. So I have taken 2 to just show this matter that how this head and tail works. So let's start the next operation. This next operation is extraction of a set of rows from a data frame. So it is similar to that head and tail only, but in head and tail we are specially looking into the first 5 or the bottom 5 records, something like that by default. But if you want to extract as per your wish, that means you can set your own start point and end point. So if you want to do that, you can use it using another method. Another operation is there. So I'm writing it over here, print then dfrm, and then this is what the square brackets we have to put. And this is similar to that list slicing or string slicing in Python. Here we need to specify the start index and the end index. So suppose if I mention here 2 as my start index, which is basically the third row we are talking about, because index starts with 0, and after that give a colon, and then you mention here the end index. So end index will be, suppose if I mention 5, Python is going to count 4. Why? Because Python automatically reduce 1 from the given value. So end index minus 1, so definitely it will be starts from second index till the fourth index. So let's check it out, what will be the output of this particular code. So I'm just closing the bracket and try to run this once again. Run. And from the figure only you can check it out that from the second index till fourth index it is going to display 3 total rows. So I hope this idea is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next third part over here. So in the third part, if we want to give a step jump, basically the default step jump is 1 only. So we have not mentioned earlier, but right now if I mention 2, so 2 will give an alternate jumps. That means the third row will going to print, then it will skip the fourth row and then comes to fifth row. So that's why I have arranged this one. Let's see the output. Run, and over here, now as you can see over here that the second index and the fourth index is printed, whereas the third index, that is the fourth row, is skipped over here. So like this way we can do this operation, that we can slice the particular data frames as per our requirement. Now move on to the next part. What I will do is I'll just use the comment so that we can reduce the number of code segments. Now the next objective is, suppose if you want to extract the number of row column names, suppose I want to display the column name present. In that case what I can do is I can write here print and then dfrm dot column columns. If I write over here, so it is going to display the name of the columns present in the particular data frame. So just I run this and I see. Now as you can see over here, we have roll number, we have name and the address. So like this way we can see the number, the name of the columns present in a data frame. Let's move on to the next operation. The next operation is, suppose if you want to display the column data of a specific column, then how you can display that. So for doing this one, what we can do is we can write over here print and dfrm dot column name. So suppose I'm having a column name, for example name over here, as I mentioned name. So after that, let's see if I run this code, what I going to get. So from here, as you can see that as I mentioned the name, column name, name. So name contains the name of all the students. So here you can see the name, the 5 names are there. Now similarly, if you want to display any other thing, for example addresses, in that case you can display the address also. So to do this one, what we can do is print dfrm dot address. If I write over here like this way, what will happen, it will going to display the address. So if I run this, so it is going to display the data of address column. So in this address column only you can see over here. So like this way, if you want to extract a column data of a specific column, in that case you can use it in this manner. There is another way also to extract the specific column data. For that I need to write over here as print, and then I have to write dfrm, then square bracket I have to put, an inside single inverted comma I have to write the name of the column. So if I do like this way also, I can get this answer. Let's see, start with the run and run. Now you have to run the code. Now you can see over here the name of the person is shown over here. So like this way also you can display the results of a particular specific column data. So if you want to display more column data also, you can display more column data is in one place. So for that reason we need to place over here dfrm, and after that the square bracket, double square bracket you have to start, and then you have to give a comma and write down the name. Suppose I'm writing it together, address, like this way. If I want to give, then also I'm going to get the result. I mean this time name and address together, I'm going to get the column data. So run this and save. Now as you can see over here, the name and the address together in one operation only you can display the column data. So earlier we have done it in a separate way, but this time together we can put two columns name and we can display it also. Similarly you can put other column names also. So this is what the operations are we are talking about in data frames. There are many other operations available on data frames also, but if I include all the data frames operation into one particular video, the video will be very long. So because of that, to reduce the size of the video and the length of the video, I just stop the explanation over here itself. I hope in the coming videos we are going to look into that particular operations also. So I'm planning to create another operation on data frame. In that it will be a data visualization, where using data frame I'm going to plot a graph, and in Python it's a very important topic by plotting a graph using a data frame. So probably in the next video we are going to learn that particular operation. So till then, stay tuned, and if you like this tutorial, in that case please like, share, subscribe, and please don't forget to give comments. Thank you very much, and keep watching iTeaches.